everyone, and welcome to the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports podcast. I'm your host, Josh. Salvation Elite to my right is Bash_BO3 Sam, and to our farthest right, per usual, is none other than Rex, Shady, Nero, and guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about today, but not only that, it's the dawn of LAN returning to Call of Duty, man. It's been long awaiting, way overdue.
Finally.
And I could not be more excited, but my word, before we get into the predictions, the news about New York, ASIM Season 4 a little bit, before any of that, guys, I've got to ask, boys, what's going on?
Well, Josh, I recently just bought some Dallas Empire joggers, and they are possibly the greatest thing that I've ever worn on my body.
What?
It is like heaven as pants.
They have
and
joggers?
Meanwhile, my crotch is right there waiting to enter the pearly gates.
Just what Crim's waiting for. Oh, man.
Whoa.
Sam, how you doing?
It's heavenly.
Doing good. I didn't know they sold joggers on the.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude,
That's
they're
cool.
so good. Honestly, I love
What's
these
the,
things.
what's the brand? Like, is
Is
it?
COD League paying you for this?
No.
Is there like a certain brand down there?
Give me 1 second.
Yep. Check,
We're getting the, my
Wow.
word, demonetized
That's
after
actually
this.
impressive that he's able to stand on the
Wow.
chair.
He's this is asking for disaster.
If you fall, it's not workers' comp, by the way.
Yeah.
UNRL.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
But I guess big shout outs to UNRL for the comfy
Nice.
sweatpants though. But man, we have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, you can listen on YouTube. You can watch on YouTube. Listen on Spotify. Listen on Apple Podcasts. You can drop a review on Apple Podcasts and a comment on YouTube. And today, Sam's reading a little review that we got.
Wow, we got a new
what's
review.
going on? Okay.
By Maggie C. GG.
Okay.
Oh, I know this. I've seen this name before.
What a guy.
Nice. Best podcast.
Oh.
5 stars, of course.
I agree.
Hey, Josh, Rex, and Sam. I just wanted to say I love the podcast and never stop them. We don't plan on it.
Oh.
Anyway, I thought of a funny line casters could say in a very specific scenario.
Oh, no.
Let's say Illy is the first person on the hard point. Miles could say Inder is in there.
Oh,
Get it?
my
Like,
word.
Inder is in there.
Wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
goodbye.
Anyway, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Solid.
Maggie C.
solid.
Fair play. I mean, you know,
That's fair.
Inder's
Inder's in there.
there.
He's in there.
That'd
You know,
be good. Be good.
4
It's
out
in
of 10.
Texas. It all fits.
Oh, come on.
No,
But a
there's
5-star
layers
review.
to
That
it
deserves like a
that I
6
feel
out
like
of
you're
10.
not recognizing.
Wait, what?
It's
Rex?
Dallas. It's like
Okay.
like Texas. Like
Yeah.
Inder, get into hell, please. Like it's a very Texas
Get
thing.
in there.
So Illy is name's Inder. Get Inder Hill. Like it's
Okay.
Texas.
I can get
and
behind it.
His name.
Underhill.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. Well,
Cool. Nice.
yeah, we have a lot to talk about today, obviously. And I mean, no quick question today. I guess we're just going to fire right into the news
Fire right in
again.
there.
So without further ado, let's get right into the news of the week.
The Call of Duty News of the Week.
Yes, sir. And Shady Nero is leading the news today. So what you got,
Whoa.
Shady?
Welcome to the news of the week. What do we got for league news? Let's talk it off one by one. Official bracket for Stage 4 has been released.
Yes.
Stage 4, as we all probably know, it's a LAN, baby. It's a LAN. The one hiccup, though, and I'd like to know what you guys think about this, casters will not be there in person.
Oh,
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Rough. Aroni, bro. We're going to have like a 3-second delay, a 2-second delay.
I mean, dude, it's
Well,
already
that's the
so
concern.
bad.
It is. Like, you'll like hear like the caster say like, oh, wow. Like right before a three-piece. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh,
I feel like
the 3-piece.
Oh, thanks for letting me know.
Wow.
I hope hopefully it doesn't end up like that, but I also feel like a lot of a passion that can come from the casters is because they're also there on LAN, and we talked about that in the
I know.
last podcast.
Yeah.
Where like a LAN environment even helps a caster be more into it.
I know. Inder's going to be in there, but Miles won't.
Miles won't be in
It's
there.
so sad, man.
Oh,
What a
man.
shame. Miles is in there. 1, 2,
2,
3.
3.
Now he's
oh,
in.
he's in there.
Yeah.
No,
So hopes and
yeah,
prayers
it's
that
going to
doesn't
be tough,
happen.
man.
Hopes and prayers we have less commercials. Just plugging that now. Next topic of news: ASIM not making it for Stage 4.
What?
Asim is stuck in Canada.
Oh, man.
That whole as the story of the year is visa issues. So he's stuck in Canada, and they will not let him come to the land.
Dude.
New York had to pick somebody up. They picked up Decimate. In the end of all the rigmarole, Decimate ended up being the guy that's going to be replacing
look at those
Asim.
animations.
Most likely. Wow. Actually, that's rumored. Most likely.
Most likely.
Yeah, that's the thing. Dude, I lost absolute full just seeing this. I mean, the rumor, we talked about this a while, like maybe like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when that rumor first came out. That shout out the animations, by the way, on the podcast. Things you love to see.
Wow.
But I absolutely lost full the first time we heard about this. But I never would have thought it actually would have happened.
No.
You'd think at some point they'd be able to figure out a way to like work through it and make it and get him there. But
it must just be a nightmare. How many players have had visa issues? It must be a nightmare.
The weird thing is that how he stated it was more like he said customs was the issue. He didn't like specifically mention the visa. So like it came off as like a kind of a weird situation to me, like more weird than like some of the other ones we've had with like Zero and
typical visa.
Afro.
Yeah. Right. But we don't know the intricate details.
Right.
But
because he put out a tweet longer and kind of just spewing some
his
of his
whole
thoughts
year has been
about some
hard.
of the struggles of the year. I mean, he's overcome a lot of the obstacles by being so good this year after being, I doubted him going into this year and he's been awesome and overcoming a lot.
Imagine where he was going into the year. His stock was tremendously low, right? Going for he is now where he's like an incredible player and incredibly sought after player, I know for sure. And then not be able to attend the first LAN is such a heartbreak.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, imagine if, let's say, Decimate plays let's say New York wins.
Oh,
low chance.
That's gonna be
what do they do?
That would be unreal.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, that was the other part of the news is that the player that will be replacing him is likely going to be Decimate, obviously. So we'll talk about that in a second as well. But to your point, could you imagine if they actually played well? Oh my word, that would be insane. What would it take? I mean, obviously we'll talk more about the actual ins and outs of New York and this weekend, of course, now, but
it might be a little bit weird, like off, but like having Saints be approached and then he doesn't respond in time.
Yeah, that's so tough. Right. And that's the thing. And so,
well, it wasn't just Saints either. They approached multiple top AMs, but they don't want to go and play in that major because they won't be able to play in the elite qualifiers or the elite series because it's on the same day.
Right. And Diamond
so these people are
in
choosing
Canada.
Amateurs that over playing for this pro team.
So it's really tough for New York. I mean, they ended up with Decimate, which to be fair, I mean, out of all the players, I mean, at least you got someone who's been around this year and been really successful and like, Could he be a decent replacement for a week? Of course. I thought it might end up being worse than Decimate. Like I thought nobody might be able to play it. And then that's why I was wondering if that censor tweet was actually real or not.
That would have been better than Decimate.
It ended up being a troll. What?
That's better than Decimate.
Whoa!
Censor.
Wait, what is
sleeveless Doug Sensor Martin on your team?
I see.
Are you
100%.
kidding me?
You're right. I mean, they wanted not sleeved Doug Sensor Martin, so that's a pretty tough move, but sleeveless
six-figure
Doug Sensor Martin.
I mean, what do you
day contract?
What do you feel about the AMs not wanting to play on New York for this major because of the Elite Series? Do you think that's the right mindset to have?
If you're one of the top
or do you
AMs,
think you just do however well you place, and then you can't play in the Elite Series for the rest of the
I will pose the argument
season
for why you would not want to.
For sure. I think there's a better argument.
So here you are, you're an AM, you're doing really well. You're one of the top dogs. Let's say you decide to play for subliners. It grows atrociously because again, it takes time to build chemistry.
Right. It's a top 3 team. Do you think it's going to go that bad?
It could. You lose both matches right away. You miss out on the qualifier. Your team that you previously were on picked up someone else. You're no longer wanted on that team. You are now in empty space.
Right.
That's hard.
Yeah. And we've seen how savage the AM scene is this year with just, we did well without you for 1 week.
Yes.
We're done with you.
We're done. Yeah. But the positive side though is, do you truly want it? And are you willing to risk it with playing on subliners on the first land. Like, that's a big opportunity.
And if you play well, here's the thing: your goal, even getting picked up, it's not like anyone expects them to get first place now.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of like a play well in general.
There's no risk
I
you're
think
really
that
taking.
Elevates your stock a lot.
That's true.
Unless you get, what if you get absolutely bodied? Like, what if you
like 3-0
like up
both times
in 0.3 KD? Like, you're just getting absolutely smoked.
Well, then
Like,
maybe
that
you
doesn't
weren't
help.
prepared for the COD League.
maybe
True.
Maybe you just suck.
But I mean, it's going to be on like what, 4 or 5? I don't know how long. We don't know how long it's been since they started scrimming, but max 1 week.
Yeah.
Max 1 week notice.
A week of New York with like an extra player. You think they can beat Rocker still?
I mean, that's the question.
Mhm.
It's no guarantee, though.
No.
It's no
I mean, if
guarantee.
this is like a dime a dozen. Like this is a top 3 team, one of the best teams that you can just go and sub in for and show something off around good teammates that have been winning.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the question. I'm just not convinced that.
If you mess up, I really don't know how like big the downfall would be unless you just do really, really bad. And if that's the case, maybe you shouldn't have been there at all.
I agree. I mean, I guess, yeah, from the perspective of most AMs, though, is that there's no long-term upside here. Like, the second ASIM can play, he's playing. No matter how good you play.
Yes.
Even if you finish top 4, if New York finished top 4, with at this point would be probably pretty miraculous.
Yeah.
To finish top 4 with a new player coming off of like max 5-6 days of practice, you know, what's the long-term upside? You're not going to get picked up by any other team, almost for sure.
I feel like your stock could rise, I think.
Your stock could rise for sure. But
let's say you play well. Now you have teams
series,
in the Pro League, Seattle Surgemen, being like, you know, maybe we can change our roster around next season and get this guy because he already showed he could play with the best teams and win matches. Like,
it'll surge and decimate. Yeah, no, that's the thing. It is interesting that Decimate, I mean, obviously people were pissed about Decimate, like quitting on the surge or whatever. So it was a little bit surprising that Decimate was the guy that ended up coming into place for New York.
Yeah.
But I guess it makes sense in the sense that like his like loyalty was never like he was ready to get back in.
Yeah.
Which is interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Decimate at first said no.
Oh, interesting.
That's true. Clay did tweet that.
He did.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Basically, he said, does any top AMs want to take a chance and play with us? And then someone replied, Decimate. And then
it was
Clay said,
Decimate's
no.
mom. It was Decimate's mom who added her own son, and then Clay responded to her saying, he said no. So it's like, ooh.
I missed that. How did I miss that? That's actually comedy. Wow. No, yeah, that's going to be crazy. I mean, again, it just shows, I mean, at least for a positive for the AM scene, at least it shows that like the top AMs are being rewarded in a pretty sufficient way, like to keep them interested and like engaged with enough money on the line that makes them want to play.
Yeah.
You know, in the Elite Series, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, the notoriety and like those types of things aren't there, but at the end of the day, like still pretty solid for sure. I guess, again, we'll talk a lot more about New York here in the predictions part of the show for sure, though. So, Rex, what you got for us?
Next up, Stage 4 peak viewership.
Oh yeah,
past. I think it was LA Thieves homestand, 61,000.
Yeah, not
Overwatch
great.
League happened at the same time, and it was averaging about 82,000.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I mean, not the greatest of looks, you know, not the greatest. And to be fair, all top 5 matches were optic matches throughout the stage. Shocker. I don't know, man. At the end of the day, like, I think it makes sense that the viewership's really, really low right now. I mean, we're in the dead center, middle of the season, the last leg of online COD. You know, heading in, obviously, it hurts not having ASIM there, which really hurts the storylines for this weekend in a lot of ways. But I will be very excited to see what the viewership will look like for this Dallas Optic match, round 1 of this LAN. It's going to be insane.
It's got to be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to guess, it could peak 125K or more.
But possibly, because since it is a tournament, so like that was the difference. We had the Overwatch League. They were averaging 82,000, but it was more of a full-on tourney.
Right.
Whereas what we're doing is, I don't know, the season or pool play or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So like there's that hype factor, and maybe that opens up the discussion again about maybe we don't have this structured right.
Yeah.
Do we still
I
keep
agree.
doing this pool play thing, or do we move to a format just like, let's just have majors? Let's just have tournaments every single time.
Yeah, I agree.
Like we used to.
My biggest thing would be again, I think in the offseason we'll have a lot of time to talk about this, but I think there is some sort of argument to be made that maybe we need to go back to more of how it was made before, where you don't have like season long league matches, because it does feel like you play teams. There is almost like a oversaturation of COD at times, which, you know, I'd be interested to just kind of see Activision's perspective on that, because whether they want, you know, is it better to have less viewership, but it's on more, and that actually ends up creating more viewership, versus, you know, the specialized events where you might not have COD for 2 weeks or 3 weeks in a stretch or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
You're probably
that'll be the discussion.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have Activision say they want
the consistent play.
Because again, that puts more advertisements out there, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, because we don't have enough of that already.
I know. More.
Don't get me started on
teabagging.
Advertisements. Sam.
That would be our third straight week.
more teabagging jokes. But yeah, it's hard. You do go back and forth of like, you do miss the like 5 to 6 awesome events,
right?
But then it's like, would you want to rather have the more consistent where you see COD every single weekend almost?
Right. I mean, the irony of it though is like World War II, like that era of the CWL had a pretty good formula where you have like spurts of league,
yes,
but not all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this is fun. It's the league matches time of the year, but like instead of it being there all year long, that could help spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I could see us going back to a format where you have mostly tournaments, but then you also have like the season's playoffs type situation too.
Yeah.
Basically CWL.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Next topic. There was an interesting Mount Rushmore COD poll.
Oh yeah.
Put out by
Complete
CDL
trash.
Intel. So I don't know if we
100% agree.
Are we able to pull this up yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. So basically,
Next week.
there's a COD poll about what games would be on the Mount Rushmore of COD. 3 of them were like pretty solidly in place. It was Black Ops 2, Advanced Warfare, and Black Ops 3 would be for sure 3 heads of the Mount Rushmore based off the poll. And did people agree with this or not? Yeah, about 60% of the people agreed with that take. 25% disagreed.
3 of the 4.
And then 15
So what's
results.
the 4th?
What's that?
Well, why does he say 3 of the 4?
I think you're just
Because I
saying like
think-
this was like the most popular. These three were the most popular.
They were like just obvious.
Yes.
They were just
Okay.
locked in. The
I
4th
see.
one, I think, was more of a toss-up.
I could see that.
So what would be your fourth?
Well, see, that's the thing. Advanced Warfare would probably be like the 4th. There's no way it's in
It'd
my
be the
top 3.
first.
No.
Bro.
No.
Uplink?
Oh my
Uplink
God. Uplink's
was-
in Black Ops 3 is the far superior game. It's not even close.
Well, Black Ops
It's
3
close.
is. It's on the list too, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, Black
Advanced
Ops 2
Warfare
1.
paved the way.
BO3 is 2.
Advanced
Ghost
Warfare-
is 3.
Oh,
By
gosh.
far. It's not even
Ghost.
close.
You're a ghost guy. I forgot about that.
And then it's a debate between Advanced Warfare and BO4.
No,
probably.
Advanced Warfare changed the tides of competitive.
But
It's in
BO4
there.
might be above Advanced Warfare.
No
And
chance.
then it's-
No chance.
No
No chance.
yeah.
No chance.
chance.
Oh,
You
yeah.
actually believe that?
That was a great
No
year, man.
shot.
Everything about BO4 was incredible. I loved it.
This guy.
No chance. I mean, BO4, maybe we can put that as a Rushmore. But Advanced Warfare is,
No.
I think, above
Black
that.
Ops 4
I think
not-
the
not
3
even.
there are pretty
No.
good.
Not
I don't
even.
know. Advanced Warfare, I mean,
You-
it was just like...
you would need to put like.
We're not talking about game. Like, we're just talking about, like, it depends how you want to define the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that's the
COD.
thing.
You need to put like COD
Are you
4 up
talking
there,
about
honestly.
Right.
Because it
competitive,
like started everything.
I think we're
Was it
definitely
peak
talking
competitive
competitive.
Competitive
This
COD.
is definitely competitive.
Competitive COD.
But, like, not the
Which
top
starts in
3 actual
BO2
games.
modern era.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's the whole, I kind of see it as like the whole year of competitive COD in the perspective of watching, playing,
Mhm.
experience, events, storylines, everything. And the game itself, metas and everything.
Honestly, probably IW had the most viewership, didn't it?
No,
Might
not
have.
not on an event to event basis. I mean, for champs,
Champs
maybe.
for sure.
'Cause of Optic
right?
fans.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking champs, I guess.
Right. I could see it, but I don't know. It was definitely wild. I understand why Advanced Warfare is on there, but it's just not there for me. For sure.
As the game, but competitive, dude, it was great.
It was
Yeah.
great.
No, I get
competitive.
it.
All right, next
No, you
news
Fifth
stopped.
topic.
place.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
sorry.
Fire away,
So
Rex.
next topic looks like some new maps.
Oh, yeah.
coming into the fray.
Oh yeah, baby.
Our new it's Collateral, a multiplayer map built for 6v6,
Some
12v12, and combined arms. So basically the question is, does this make it to competitive?
I saw some screenshots of the mini map. It looked decent.
Did I see correctly that they're remaking Rush from Black Ops 2, that paintball map?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That map was so fun, man. I would imagine it's the remake of the same paintball map. Is that what it is? I think it has the same name.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the mini map right now. Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Actually, I just assumed that it was like not actually the same one.
It was just,
Dude, that's so sick, bro. BO2, even its DLC maps were legendary. That's how good that game was.
I agree.
Like, what was the Cove map or whatever? The DLC map was like on the beach with the island. Is that called Cove?
Yeah.
I think it was. That map was legendary. Yeah. This one was legendary. There were so many good. Anyway, I could rant about everything about that.
So have we seen any mini-map coverage of Collateral?
And Hijack's for sure coming too.
Hijack's coming too, yeah.
Yeah. So it should be pretty
Hijack's coming?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. That's dope.
Again, bro, this is literally just either of those maps remastered.
Do you think Hijack makes it to competitive?
No, I'd be pretty surprised. It would really take.
Do you think we're going to get any new maps that can? Do you think any new maps are going to come in that will make it into competitive?
I think it's possible that Standoff Hardpoint could come in. Rush is interesting because I could see it working as an S&D map potentially, but that would be pretty surprising if they made it a competitive map. Yeah. Just because it wasn't at all competitive and it was just a pubs map in BO2.
And you almost wonder too if pros just do not want any more maps at this point.
It is stage 4, going to be stage 5.
I feel like they're going to be like, no, we don't want any more. We should cap it right now.
Yeah, probably that's what would happen. The best teams are like, yo, I think we're good. We're the best teams. We don't want anything. Like at this point, I could see that happening. I don't know. That gets me excited though. I didn't actually see the Rush thing until right now. So that's actually so hype.
That's cool.
That's crazy. I'm hyped.
Yeah.
That's my favorite maps in BO2.
Next on the docket, news-wise. CDL is now sponsoring streamers.
Yeah, dude, what in the world?
Kind of popping off on Reddit a little bit. Let me see what her name was.
I don't think it showed the name.
Who's sponsoring that?
Finish that, please.
I'm
trying to find her name.
Basically, just on the stream, it literally just had the COD League's logo up above it, listing it as like a sponsored streamer, and it was said that she's a World Series of Warzone captain. Yes,
yes,
and
WSOW
gets pretty crazy. So that is crazy. That's breaking news to me. I didn't realize that they were sponsoring people.
Yeah, so this means that they can watch the COD League on their streams.
Yeah, what in the world? Yo, CDL.
So CDL? Here's the thing. Here, I don't even think we should be mad.
Podcast watch parties officially.
The fact that they're moving this on to streamers, like this woman was a World Series of Warzone, or is going to be a World Series of Warzone captain.
Yeah.
So she'll be playing in that. So I guess they sponsored her. I assume maybe most of the captains are getting those privileges.
That's a good direction for COD, though.
It is. It's just going to open up the map, hopefully, to adding more content creators into the space, which I think we really could use.
Yeah.
There's talks what Nadeshot wants to do it, or he's not allowed to do it. But since his partnership with Twitch,
he has to wait for his contract to end.
With YouTube and Twitch, you can't stream it yet until the partnership contract ends with Twitch.
Yeah. So,
anyways,
I'm looking forward to that. Again, CDL, just know I'm here. We're here.
Yeah.
We're waiting for a call. I'm down. I'm always down
to not talk bad.
Do you remember
about you or anybody?
Do you remember?
I remember
the era of when everyone was trying to get off the MLG TV contracts.
Oh yeah.
That was just horrible. It's like, wow.
That was such a drama for so long.
That was insane. Like everyone was just doing horrible things. And then they all got their contracts canceled. So it's like, wow, that's good.
Absolutely insane. Comedy though.
That was insane.
That was such
a tragic time.
If you don't know,
real quick, MLG.TV was where people used to stream like Scump and Nadeshot, and they had contracts.
And that's why Activision bought MLG in the first place.
Yes.
Is that they wanted to create the Twitch of esports.
Yes.
And have MLG.TV be the place for that.
Mm-hmm.
But they just could never just convert it it never got over that hump.
It did have some cool features.
It had some dope features.
Yes.
You could switch through POVs for a while.
Yes.
And like that's just something that we've all dreamed of having since then, where you could choose which player's POV you wanted to watch.
It was cool.
With the casters and everything too. Like so cool.
They had like stats too.
Live
like
stats on the side. They had tons of awesome stuff. And this was like during like that era of like Ghost AW and BO3.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like something like MLG TV could actually maybe work now if they could get just like every esport player like willing to like stream on it. Maybe
It'd be cool.
Maybe, but
it'd be so hard.
The problem is Twitch is just so they'll just pay anything nowadays.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
yeah,
no, yeah, for sure. What else we got, Rex?
Challengers news.
Ah, yes.
This was
Cup
some
number
spicy
17
spice.
happened. Number 1, who got first place? Draza Mohawk
Look
Pro
at that,
Spark.
baby.
Draza,
Freaking Draza, man.
already coming in hot.
After getting dropped
Yeah.
or benched.
The revenge
sorry.
tour, baby.
The revenge
Yeah.
tour.
Second place, Mock, Hollow, Yuli, and Jintroid. Jintroid's a name we've been seeing around in these top placings often. And then third place, Royalty, Dave Patey, Diamond Con, and Exotic.
Royalty and Exotic are always like
It's insane,
They're
man.
right there.
Bro, the disrespect between those veterans, bro.
It's crazy. Like
Nobody talks about them.
Okay, Royalty and Exotic, if you're listening, what you need to do is you need to rebrand your name and don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Just like officially retire and then come back as like a different name and never stream or
And
like
you
show
will
your
get a
face.
contract.
You will get a contract
Yeah.
because you're always there. I feel like it's just the name. There has to be a thing where it's like these like names that have been around for a while. They're just not going to get
Seen as
picked up
boring.
because they're seen as boring.
Just tell the insiders, like the rest of like the top AMs, so they know who you are, so at least you can get picked up, and then just shine.
Yeah, it's actually so funny.
It's wild, but
Yeah, that's
congrats to Draza.
back to
though.
back.
Congrats to
Things love to
Draza.
see.
Mohawk back to back. That's pretty cool.
Let's go, baby. But yeah, I don't know. I think it just gets interesting kind of with the Elite Series, the qualifications, and on the way again here for Stage 4. It's really staying interesting. I've definitely been trying to keep up with all the streams and watching the matches lately because it's been a blast to watch.
John's team kind of blew up, right?
It's tough. I mean, there's a lot of ramifications of Draza and Venom getting benched and a lot of the moves in the CDL caused for a big old roster mania in the AM scene again because of just the trickle down effect consistently. And I mean, it worked out for Draza, Mohawk, Pro, Loot, and Spartan again there. But yeah, things you absolutely love to see.
And that's it.
Oh, baby. We made it.
Week.
Yes.
We made it.
That was the first official Shady Nero hosted
Congrats.
news of the week.
Well,
good start. Good start. We thought we might try to like change up our formats and how we
shake it up a little bit.
Shake it up a little bit because otherwise I'm just ranting all the time. And who wants that?
Everyone.
No one. So basically, our first segment is kind of just transitioning into our second segment, which segment 1 is going to be the impact of LAN. And then we're going to kind of head into our talk or our predictions for the weekend. So without further ado, we can get into the spiciness that is Stage 4 Major and the LAN environment. Let's talk it out.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
I mean, you had to play the absolute hotness because, I mean, we're back on LAN, baby, and things you absolutely love to see. So this conversation is pretty straightforward. It's about the impact of LAN and tournaments being back, and what does it look like for the players. I mean, we have quite a few LAN debuts for players in the CDL. We have quite a few guys that have literally never played in a LAN environment or never, at least at a pro level.
At the pro level. I'm sure they've probably played in amateur tournaments
or
back in whatever
whatever
games they started in. But this is like the first time debuting in the Call of Duty League on LAN. And there's some notable names on this list.
There are. And
Can I add a side note real quick?
Absolutely.
I just got a hot flash, so I'm like sweating a little bit. So if you're seeing that, I'm like,
what?
If you're seeing that, I'm like sweating on camera.
You good?
I'm good. I just like, I might be going through menopause.
This is kind of a thing that Sam does.
Woo! So sorry. Just let you know if you see me sweating. Just got a hot flash. I was legit just sitting here and sweat. Just
hopefully you survived, bro. I mean,
I'm okay.
I mean, that might be what happens to some of these guys on LAN.
It's true.
You know, who knows?
Get nervous.
Standy could be sitting there, and then suddenly he's just drenched in sweat. You're this? And then they got like Octane screaming at him across the aisle. And then it just all goes downhill. So at least you don't have Octane here screaming at you.
Oh, I'd be crumbling under pressure.
Yeah. But again, so thoughts on where we're at with LAN at this point. Obviously, what are the real differences between LAN and online at this point? Which teams are going to be affected the most? I guess we can start from there. What are your thoughts on LAN and the impact that's going to have in a broad sense?
I think the number one team and person, I think you got to look at Slasher and LA Thieves.
Okay.
I mean, just people who played on LAN, there's been a lot of, they've expressed their opinions very loudly about their feelings about it. And in a way, it feels like they seem to think that they would look better and they would be playing a lot better if it was on LAN. So we got to see if that actually ends up showing up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, the two teams that have undoubtedly, or the two group players or teams talk about the most is 100% Slasher, who complained about online immensely last year.
Yeah.
So he said he was going to retire if we were online again this year. And then Optic, who has just consistently kind of beat that dead horse about the impact of LAN.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when they get done with a game, is it going to be just, if they lose, what are they going to be able to say?
Yeah. I mean, do you think it creates extra pressure for Optic in the sense that they've been talking about LAN so long and that like this is kind of like a lot of fans have been using that as like kind of like a opt-out answer for why they've been struggling?
I think it does. I think at least if it were me and I was one of them, I would be like, and I've been talking a lot about LAN and like how we'd be so great on LAN.
Yeah.
Or at least giving that impression to people. And if you don't show up, that's just a bad look. It's a bad look. People have been getting dropped who are veterans because, and they kind of start saying it's because, it's not LAN, not the same. But then now we're getting to LAN. What if they still are doing the same?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, and then not only that, but you're playing Dallas round one. And there's at this point, some like real like beef there with Formal and Crim and whatever unburied words between Scump and Crim too. And of course, Crim just in general with Optic. And
Dallas won champs online. So
right. Dallas won champs online. I mean, we've only seen Illy and Shotzi on LAN a few times themselves.
Yeah.
Let alone in a match against against Optic in a real tournament environment again like this.
I think Shotzi is a name that I think I really want to look at because when we saw him on LAN near the end, he showed like he was okay, but he was really, really bad at first on LAN.
Right. I mean, yeah. Then
but it's also his debut into COD and all that.
Right. And then we had the infamous interview at CDL London.
Oh, there's some days where I'll pull that up.
I literally just watched it like 4 days ago.
There's literally some days where I'm just like, I can't believe this actually happened. Like, oh my gosh.
Like he goes like, I have nothing else to say. Or like he just like, I have nothing to say. And then just like the stare. And then she's like, well, maybe I'll have more to say after, you get comfortable on LAN.
And then she even has to like, London. Like, calm down. Go back to Halo.
Oh,
yes.
Man. Yeah, it was wild. And he wasn't looking too hot. And even at the last LAN, he was doing okay. And like that's when he was kind of like, maybe was about to start getting good, but he didn't really become an all-star until we are like fully online.
Yeah. And then she points, London.
Oh,
it's so good. Oh yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, like it is literally freaking legendary. And just absolutely goated. It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Everything about it. But I don't know. Funny. Otherwise, for those types of guys, I think we could see a world where, I don't know. I'll be interested to see what other players end up, like, are we going to really see the players crack? Like, is that going to be a real issue?
I have a hot take.
Okay.
I think this first LAN will not be that different.
Fans.
It's fans. Fans are going to be when you're going to see cracking.
Yeah. I think especially for
cracking.
Cracking under pressure is what I'd probably say.
Right.
I think the biggest thing this will affect are the teams that are all not in the same location.
Okay. The LAGs and Torontos of the world.
Yes. I think that will have the biggest effect because you do see people like you'll occasionally say, hey, like, I've been playing on like a higher ping than, whatever, where you like, as you have like Dallas and basically everyone in Texas, they're all playing together, and so they're all experiencing the same pain. They're all experiencing the same environment. I think that will transition well into this land where there's no fans. It's pretty much the same thing. You're just playing against each other. Obviously, the pings will be different, all that, but I truly think when it comes to the LAN environment, a big thing is with like the fan pressure and the like we saw in that Shotzzy interview. It's not a lot of people are able to take that kind of pressure, and so that's where I think is going to be the biggest thing. So for my predictions, I think that this first LAN is not going to be that big of a change from what we're seeing for the majority of teams, except for the teams that are all not in the same location. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, the question is then does it help LAG in a positive sense? Does it hurt them? Same thing with Toronto. I mean, it seems, at least from the interviews, I mean, a handful of the Toronto guys have been asked about it. They think it's going to be no difference, zero. Yeah. I mean, it seemed like from what Silly's been saying on Twitter and some of the LAG guys, they seem hyped to get to LAN and
another
and
team that
have a fair connection. I mean, I know we'll talk about them when we get to the to the bracket and whatever, but did you guys see the odds of their odds that they had based by 365?
I just saw that Ultra was like 3 something. I'm like, that's pretty good.
Right. So I tweeted about it because London was at like 400 or whatever, and Seattle was at 500.
Yeah.
And then LAG was at 2,000.
What?
4 times less likely to win than Seattle.
Which is, that's...
And 5 times less likely to win than London.
Wow.
That's
like,
disrespectful, man.
I know. I tweeted like, yo, I mean, they're probably not going to win, but bro,
wow. Could you not do
Are
that?
you insane?
That much worse than Seattle? Like,
I
don't
know.
think so.
That's wild.
And like, if there's anyone who's going to have an X factor in a positive sense, if anyone, it's going to be LAG with 4 veteran players who have done it at champs and have won at champs, and then they also are being affected by online in different ways, whether it's positive or negative. Some might argue that it's positive. I mean, I think Formal would argue that it's definitely negative. From his, and Slasher would probably argue the same thing. So, in my head, LAG is a team that we're going to talk about more probably later, just because of, I think they're an interesting team, at least.
They are.
Because of those aspects, headed to LAN again.
Yes.
So.
Okay. So I want to just go through something real quick. So these are the players who never played pro on LAN. Let's just list this real quick. Awakening, big name. Mac Melts, Neptune, Insight, Hydra, Standy, Afro, Paul X, and Zaptius.
Sort of. Zaptius is a sort of. Because
Zaptius is a sort of.
Yeah, because of Midnight in BO4.
Yeah, he did play pro in Black Ops 4 for Midnight.
I mean, I have a ton of confidence in Awakening either way. I don't know how you don't, one thing, I guess I can talk about this in a little bit as well, but I'll make sure to see if, teams really haven't played this game on LAN at all. So it's like, will guns be different? Will the meta feel different? That's a question to be had as well, because we've seen that in past games too. Sure.
Black Ops 3.
Right. We did how some guns are dominant on LAN and some aren't. But nonetheless, I have a ton of confidence in Awakening. Outside of that,
same with Neptune. Remember his LAN experience with Halo.
True. But we did see what happened with Shotzzy.
Yes. Yeah. Although
Neptune feels like a more confident guy than Shotzzy.
I guess I'm thinking more of will the LAN environment impact these players.
Right. You could say that the fans is what impacted Shotzzy. Yeah. Like he's never had like that type of energy attacked at him before as the opposing team. Yeah. So I could see that. Yeah, I agree. Which player would you have the most or the least confidence in, or like a hesitation?
The least confidence in? It's tough because most of these players probably played in, like past games in the amateur bracket and things like that.
I think there's 3 obvious ones.
3 obvious ones. Well, let's hear them. What are they?
I think the 3 would be Hydra, Standy, and Afro. As a 3 where you're like, I don't know. We don't know what they'll be like on LAN. Hydra is interesting just because Hydra and Afro are interesting just because European. Yep. And the American LAN experience with the pros next to them. Especially
with Hydra and like with all the pressure and like trying to speak not his first language. Obviously, like it hasn't been like that much of an issue. He's been phenomenal. But like, we saw in the interview, there's certain words, where it was kind of struggle.
Right.
And then with the pressure of fans and that kind of thing,
Right.
well, he not
in a
able
fan
to,
environment where it gets really loud
Yes.
and it's not as clear to hear
Yes.
Clay screaming into your ear. Maybe
Yes.
that matters too.
It could.
Obviously, there
Yeah.
aren't fans there this time.
Yes.
And there are no casters. So
it's gonna be
weirdly quiet in those
it probably will
rooms.
be. Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
weirdly quiet. Something even less quiet than
Yeah.
the land league during
Oh, yeah.
BO World War II
yeah.
or CWO,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
My word, getting
They need
my
to
tongue
pump fan
twisted.
noise when they're there.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
100%.
If I'm
sure.
being 100% honest, I don't
100%.
think I think these players will play as well as they've probably been playing online, just because there are no fans.
Yeah.
Once
That's what I
we
think
add
too.
fans, I think is when you have that's when you'll start be able to tell something. But with no fans, I think all of them are going to do okay.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I
the
would
boring
imagine-
answer, but I really think that's what's going to happen.
I think so too. I would just why I was throwing out the Hydra, Standy, and Afro specifically as three guys who I'm really keeping my eye on,
Mhm.
just because who knows? There's just those
Right.
factors there too. I mean, again, like guys like Insight. I mean, we saw him in BO4 with Singularity dominate at
Mhm.
champs. So it's
Yeah.
like
Forgot.
I feel like he'll be fine. And then you got Neptune, a champion. Mac Melts, question mark too, I guess. But we've seen him, last year at the Open. I reffed him a few times with Hybrid Black during that time, and
Yeah.
Awakening. Not very much land experience for Awakening, but he's been so good. It's hard to imagine that he wouldn't. But
Awakening's been godly. I think
Right.
he's the number one person everybody's looking at when we go to LAN, just because he
is he cheating?
he is. Yeah, he's not cheating, but
Obviously.
he is unreal. So I was just really curious to see how that transfers to LAN.
Yeah, I mean that'll be interesting for Paul X too. I mean he shoots so straight.
It is.
It'll be awesome. I'm excited. I'm just really excited to see those guys just in general on LAN in a LAN
Mhm.
environment and getting that as well. It's just gonna be really really exciting. I think. Man, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, will the different guns play differently? I don't know. That's the other thing too.
That's
That's
another
one thing, too.
conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we for sure saw in Black Ops 3, the Man of War played so different
yeah,
online versus LAN. It melted on LAN versus online. If you missed some shots, you were pretty much not getting the kill. And then I know with World War II, that meta changed over
Yeah,
and
with
over
the FG
again.
and the STG.
bar, all that stuff changed.
and that was
So-
different between online and LAN.
Exactly. So it's like, will Dashy pull out the QBZ and be like,
Right.
let's try it
see
out.
what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Well, do you think any of them know what the good guns are on LAN? Do you
See,
think they've workshopped that? Or do you
I
think
would
everyone is
imagine
going
they-
in cold?
You would
I
think
would imagine
so.
they have at least playing some like 2v2s or like,
or at least like the coaches too, were like, hey, like,
yo, let's hop in
coach,
here and like
go
let's
hop in
let's
and-
test this
yes.
out.
Mhm.
I would imagine they have. I think it would be irresponsible not to have
They
tested
haven't.
it.
What's interesting is like you really haven't seen any talk about it. Like there's no like,
Well, no one's going to tell you what the good
No.
gun is before the first LAN.
and so that makes you think like there is some gun that's like good. It's like
We're
no
gonna
one's
have an
like saying
AUG last
anything.
year situation where
Yeah.
Priest pulls out the AUG and
Exactly.
then everyone
It's
loses
like,
their mind.
what?
Yeah.
Clay's gonna break GA or something like that. It's gonna be
Right. Well, we never
crazy.
had a rule about this gun, so like something's
interesting.
gonna happen. Something ridiculous,
Yeah.
probably. I can see it. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm down.
It'd be fun.
I mean, New
I-
York
it'd
could
be-
do it. Why not? They're
it'd be
gonna
a lot
go
of fun.
savage just because they don't have ASIM and
Might
just
as
see what
well.
happens.
Yeah.
It'd be funny. I don't know. Any other aspects that you think could happen? I guess those are kind of the things we gotta keep our eye on
Yeah.
with the LAN in mind as we head into our predictions here.
Yeah, the only thing that will be interesting is like with the Dallas versus Chicago, like,
Right.
will there be any like hypeness? Like,
Will they get up and
will
get
they
up and like get hype?
scream when it's an empty room? I don't know.
We saw. I mean, like with the Pro League
The
back
Pro
in the day,
League,
it
there was some
happened.
stuff, yes. And so I
They
kind of,
better not have that stupid barrier like they
I
did before. That
know.
always they couldn't look at each other.
I know, I'm curious.
They need to turn it so it's like
yes,
a V formation.
Or-
a little
Well,
bit.
Yeah,
I'm
like
just curious if they
Gears
will
of
even
War
get
did
hype
that.
like that because there are no fans to like drown it out. So like
right.
it's going to be
Mhm.
like echoing when every time you yell or something.
Well,
you
again,
know?
based off the CWL,
Mhm.
that did not stop Clay from getting hyped.
No,
Basically,
yeah.
all those gifts of him are from
Mhm.
the Pro League.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clay is one who will get hyped.
Oh
Hopefully.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think we can from there. We could probably just head into our predictions for this weekend, man. It's going to be a ton of fun. I am very much looking forward to it.
So much
So-
fun.
Without further ado, let's talk about who's going to be the best in the freaking game on LAN. Let's go. Oh, baby. So, predictions for this week. We have an interesting first round here. Obviously, the teams in the winners bracket off the rip here. We got New York and Rocker, Optic and Dallas in the first round. In the winners side of things, it gets, talk about juicy. Obviously, man, it just sucks that ASIM's not going to be there. And it makes FaZe's road even just that much simpler too. Yeah. But we'll be going through all of that. So Rex, pick where you want to start. Which one? New York Rocker or Optic Dallas?
Let's start with New York Rocker.
All righty.
Let's get this one over with.
Gosh.
Thoughts on this, man? So if, let's say they do have Decimate. Obviously, the Rocker, they came off a close win this weekend against LA Thieves. Looking pretty good there. I don't know. Where you at with this matchup?
It depends. How much does one change of a person make? And this one person is ASIM, who we know was doing a lot for this team.
He does it all.
I still feel like Subliners will win this.
Oh, man.
I think Subliners are just that much better when they're full power.
I don't know.
And I will take Subliners.
Wow.
3-2.
It's hard for me to justify that with a new roster. Decimate is he's just nowhere near the playmaker, the well-rounded, just absolute unit that ASIM's been this year for him, and just the utility knife in all game modes. It's hard to imagine that Decimate on a handful of days of practice could really get to a point where this team's gonna be right there. It's by no means has Rocker been impressive though, and that's why I'm a little bit torn. Sam, where you at?
Yeah.
So what I'll say about Rocker is they had a close win over LA Thieves.
Right.
And that LA Thieves had 2 people changed within the roster.
Yeah.
Slasher being one, didn't perform as well in the hard points.
For sure. I was personally more impressed with the Rockers series against FaZe with a loss 3-1 than I was in their win 3-2 against LA Thieves. Yeah. Because they ended up going down 3-1, but all of those maps were really close. And I was just overall really impressed with Priesta in that series. Looked awesome against FaZe.
Priesta found himself in that series.
He found himself in that series. And that's why I'm a little bit interested to see this team now moving forward.
It's just hard where Priesta has been so inconsistent.
Right. And so is Attached lately, too.
But something changed about Priesta, I think, this past weekend. But just like we saw happen to Shotzi, 2 or 3 weekends ago. Something happened to Priesta. He's got the fire in his belly right now. You can tell.
I agree, man. And he looked insanely great in that match against FaZe, man. And we've seen Major Maniac now making some big time plays. Obviously, there were some moments in that Garrison hardpoint where there's just some struggling for Major and Attach. But Priesta was going huge. And again, Standy just continues to be the playmaker for him.
And Priest, another guy on LAN, has been there.
That's the thing. And I just think there's a lot of X factors with this team on LAN right now with Mac and Hydra for Subliners. I would go Rocker 3-2 here. Sam?
This is got to be one of the hardest.
There's so many variables here. And we were talking about how Priest is one of the X factors.
Subliners going to be fun because you're really going to be able to see how much of a difference did ASIM make.
Right. And that's why it gets really interesting. Obviously, the first matches this weekend, all 4 of these matches happen on Thursday, by the way. So that's fun because you start out the losers bracket matches and you head into the winners bracket matches. So
I'm going to say Subliners have a rough first game. 3-2 Rocker.
Dang. All righty. So again, we're doing a collective bracket here. Oh, I was going to show the bracket. Doing a collective bracket here. Whoops. And rocking and rolling with 3-2 there.
Boom.
So we have Rocker moving on.
Again, I don't feel good about it.
No, definitely. It's impossible to feel good about it. But at the same time, just how do you trust a team on 5 days practice heading into a LAN tournament, the first of the year, or 4 days practice with Decimate? It's just impossible to assume that that's where they're at right now. So I'm down. All right. Do you want to head into the juiciest matchup of quite possibly the whole tournament?
Yes.
With Optic v Dallas here in round 1. The COD gods were smiling upon us when the seeding ended up working out this way.
Yeah.
So
two teams that have been looking like have their moments of shakiness.
Sometimes good.
Sometimes good. Sometimes bad. It's Formal versus Crim 6.
Yep. Yep. So Sam, thoughts on this one, man?
Yeah. So again, recent change with Vivid on Empire.
Very.
So it's going to be interesting to see him play. He obviously does have experience on LAN.
And they've seemed to continually get better and better. You know,
they looked better this past weekend
for
with
sure.
Vivid. Vivid actually started playing up more to what we would hope he would.
Yeah, I mean, he was really inconsistent, especially in that NYSL series. He had some bad maps, but they ended up losing 3-2 to NYSL. They beat LAG 3-0. They beat Florida 3-2 in a really, really dope series there. You know, and that's what gets interesting for me is that Florida series was so crazy. Like, I really thought Florida was going to win that based off how well Florida had been playing. And then Dallas comes out and they literally just straight up steal it and look really good.
Yeah.
You know, throughout that series. That's why I'm really, really torn here. But at the same time, you know, Optic coming off a devastating loss to Seattle.
I
know. And just overall performance issues there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's why I'm really split.
But
then they win, beat LA Thieves.
Right. And they looked really good in that
3-1,
series.
3-1, and they destroyed LA Thieves.
Yeah. I will say here, I think Optic has them in the hard points. However, I feel like Empire goes to game 5. I see Empire taking that game 5.
Empire's been so clutch this year in game 5s. It's insane. And they continued it this weekend too. That's why, oh man.
That's why part of me is leaning Empire right now.
I'm leaning Optic.
I'm leaning Optic as well, man. Yeah. I think just overall, the hard points are going to be really, really close. I could see him splitting the hard points. Empire could win map 1. I could see that happening again. I'll be interested to see what S&Ds they end up playing. Do they want to play a standoff? Do they want to play, you know, I mean, you're probably not going to play Miami if you're Optic, but that's a question mark too. So there's just so many things there, and that's why I feel like I'm just getting caught up on this, and I don't want to make a decision.
I'm going to say 3-2 Dallas.
Optic 3-2. I mean, there's something about Optic where they have a lot on the line here. Like, this is their first LAN. They've been talking all about LAN this whole time. They've now created this whole blood feud. Well, I guess this long-standing blood feud with Crimsix and that whole thing over there. Empire's camp seems really shaky right now. It seems like a negative headspace to be in. And I feel like Optic's headspace is more unified at the moment than maybe Empire's is. Empire may have discovered something. And especially with Vivid, they might have found some sort of stride. But you look to people like Illy, and you look to people like Crim6, who have been routinely inconsistent for this squad, and I don't think they can be inconsistent in this series.
Yeah. The S&Ds are just straight up the X factor. I mean, up until this weekend, Empire hadn't by any means looked great in S&D. They clutched up on Miami against Mutineers. They beat Subliners in the game 2 on Raid, then they lose the standoff. They beat LAG on Miami. So you're definitely not playing Miami if you're Optic. So then the question is, what do you end up playing? Do you end up playing Express? But the Mutineers just 6-0'd Empire on Express.
But Empire likes Express.
I know they do.
They might play it again.
I could see them playing it again. Crim normally had been playing really, really well on Express, and that's why that Mutineers S&D win was so crazy to me, and that's why I was so surprised that Mutineers ended up losing the series after winning a 6-0 on Express. Anyway, okay, I'm going Optic. I'll also pick an Optic 3-2 just because I'm not comfortable enough to pick a 3-1, but I could see it being a 3-1.
I could see it being a 3-1 as well, but 3-2 seems better.
Yeah, that's a really, really fun matchup. So with that said, I guess we can send ourselves down to the losers bracket and start it off here with the Surge London series and go from there and see what happens. This is the first series of the weekend, a noon central start on Thursday. Nice. Did we talk
about why the Formal Crim6 has more recent drama?
We talked about it last week.
Okay, we did. That basically had to do with them splitting the IW Champs MVP money, and then Formal didn't. Crim6 called them out on Twitter. After Formal said that they should have grabbed Crim6 and Black Ops 3. Okay, end of that. Yep. Next thing.
But yeah, so we got the Seattle-London match here. And again, what do you believe about these two teams? One side of me really likes the progress that we've seen from Surge. And it's just...
Hold on. London-Seattle match, right?
Yeah. London-Seattle match. Okay. Yep. But this is by no means an easy matchup either. So what are you guys' thoughts here?
I'm going London 3-1.
Really?
Okay.
I mean, they both have looked really good, but I mean, honestly, I'm kind of a favorable. Like London actually looked competitive, and Surge did just beat Optic, so maybe the tides are turning.
Man,
but Surge are essentially hopeless to ever making it to champs.
How much do you think that affects Surge's performance then? If there's nothing to play for except for money, I guess.
I mean,
exactly.
Is it really anything
Whereas
to play
Ravens
for London though?
Does Ravens still have a chance to go to champs?
In theory, but not
yeah.
really. None of them do.
I mean, they have a closer, like a relatively.
I think it's 10 points.
Like they don't have to get first.
No, they
two
do.
majors to make it.
Okay, there's a 20-point difference between London and Seattle, and
okay.
they're still 70 points back of the Mutineers, who are in 8th. So it's looking dire, considering that Mutineers have looked good. The Rocker look like they're looking good. LA Thieves doesn't look awful. So it's like there's no way any of these forward bottom teams right now are making champs. It would be shocking. LAG at least is 60 points back, but they'd have to make a pretty insane run both of these stages to give themselves even a chance. So I don't think it's too much of a factor in the conversation specifically here.
London,
I mean, Ravens did go to a game 5 with Empire.
Yeah, but
they
that was
also
in
got-
Vivid's debut, though.
they
That's
got
the thing.
3-0'd 3 times in this stage.
By Florida, Toronto, and New York. Then they beat LAG 3-1. That's the thing, is that Seattle obviously was 1-4 in this group as well,
Mhm.
with just a win against Optic, with losses to a 3-1 loss to Paris most recently. So
Well, they also lost to LA Thieves.
who?
Did they not?
That's what I'm
Surge,
saying. Yeah,
yeah.
They were 1-4 in the group with a loss to LA Thieves in that first series, but that was before Slasher and Hook.
Yeah. I also have the wrong notes up.
Oh, that would make sense. At the end of the day, I think Seattle's going to win this.
I think
I
so
think
too.
Seattle's going to win this. I hate saying that because most of the time when I've said it this year, it has not worked out. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, have you been I've been impressed with Afro individually.
Mhm.
Alex just hasn't been doing it for me.
No.
And that's unfortunate.
Nah.
So I'm going to go Seattle 3-1.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Both these teams are pretty bad in S&D.
Yeah.
Seattle just won their first control in 10 games.
They have back-to-back control wins because they beat
yes,
Optic
they
in
did.
control. Then they beat Paris
Yes, that's
in
right.
control. And one was on Checkmate, one was on Garrison. So they got a well-balanced map pool here for control now,
Yeah.
baby. Let's go.
I want to say 3-1 as well.
Okay.
Seattle.
All right, Rex, what are your thoughts? You go
It's
with
a
a
tough
3-1?
one, but I'm good with 3-1.
Okay.
I think Ravens could win it 3-2, 3-1.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really close.
The
That's the
S&Ds
thing.
are the toss-ups.
For sure. For sure. So, yeah, okay, I'm down.
The
Then we-
Battle of Los Angeles.
We got the LA battle here, the elimination
Mm.
battle of LA. My word, we got LAG versus LA Thieves here. I mean,
I have way more confidence in LA Thieves.
I know.
Way more confidence.
I wish LAG was playing London or Seattle because
Or
I want
Paris
to pick
even.
them, or Paris.
Yeah.
But it's just like if you have LA Thieves on land and every week of practice seems like they're getting more competitive. I mean, they've had 1 week together as a squad of 4 now. It's like you can
Mhm.
only imagine that an extra week of practice is going to make them more competitive. It's just hard to imagine that LAG could do it. It's not like it's unwinnable,
No.
but the problem is the LAG and S&D during stage 4 has just been not good. It's been tough.
I mean, LAG got 3-1 by Ravens.
Right. And they've only won one S&D during the stage. They were 1-4 in S&Ds on the stage. Only win was and their only S&D win was against New York, and it was on Miami in their first match of the stage.
This is looking like an LA Thieves 3-1
This is
to
a
me.
3-1.
Yeah.
Easy.
I think so too. Dang it, man. I just bet my whole house on LAG though,
Did
because
you?
of those odds.
The 2000.
If you put 50K on LAG, you'd win $10 million,
Something like that.
right?
2,000%. Or
$100
2,000.
million.
Jeez.
You could bankrupt the whole company.
You sure could. That would be amazing.
Yeah. That would be something.
Mhm.
That's what we should do, is that we should have the whole league rig it so LAG wins.
Yeah.
And then I
Just-
buy the league.
And then you buy the league. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, man.
The new league commissioner.
Yep. But yeah, okay, I'm down with that. So that sends us up to, I can show the bracket real quick. I haven't shown it in a minute here. Whoops. Trying to figure out which buttons are which. There we go.
We are.
So, all right, let's continue with the loser bracket then. You want to do Florida v LA Thieves, or let's do Florida LA Thieves.
Florida v Thieves.
All righty.
I have way more confidence in Florida in this matchup.
Same.
Right.
Florida proved something this weekend, and that they're pretty good now. So
they proved they're pretty good.
Wow. Yeah. The loss against Dallas was a little bit disappointing because I really wanted to see Florida like
That does hurt.
ascend into a top 4 form type team.
They can never just seem to get there.
They can never stay there, man.
Mhm.
You know, and again, I talked about this in my power rankings video today, but you know, they beat Toronto and everyone was like, yo, Ultras or Florida's arrived.
Yep.
But then, you know, you look at it, they won 2 S&Ds in that series, and one of them was a standoff in the first weekend of the standoff being in the rotation. So they did win a raid hardpoint in that series, which is interesting, but I don't know. It's just after their performance against Dallas, it's hard to aspire confidence.
Here is where you're going to ask yourself, does the LAN environment change things where you have Slasher and Hook, veterans on LAN versus Awakening, and I guess you could say Neptune, even though he's played Halo LAN, but he's played Call of Duty LAN.
For sure.
Does this affect it that much where Thieves could take this?
Again, I'm just not willing to weigh the LAN effect really at all at this point.
Especially with no fans.
With no fans there.
No
That's
commentators.
the thing. So at the end of the day, I'm down to take Florida here, but
Florida 3-1 for me.
Every freaking time. I was so confident Florida would beat Empire, and here we are. Every time I get hyped about Florida, they've let me down. Come on, man. Let's do it. Let's rally the troops and make this thing happen, baby. This is a 3-1. Florida takes down LA Thieves, sending them onto a very winnable match against the Subliners. But all right.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw a note in there. If LA Thieves lose this, is there another roster change? Do they bring Draza back on?
Is there any world where you'd bring in Draza for Tej? Is that actually possible?
I think it is. I think you saw.
I think Venom comes in for Tej.
He was playing flex on the cup. I'm pretty sure he was playing.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, would you send Kenny back down to an SMG again?
No, I think
it'd be more likely that Venom comes in, right?
I could see. I mean, either one, honestly. Venom or Draza could be really good. See how Thieves plays.
I would like to see.
I doubt it. I'll just say no way.
I would like to see Draza in place of TJ.
And then just see what happens.
SMG. Yeah.
It'd be kind of crazy, but I
could work.
Maybe. That'd be wild.
Yeah.
I could see going either way, but yeah. So, okay, that sends us down to our Paris v Surge match in the losers bracket there, which is also a fun one, man.
Rematch.
Yes. Where do you think this lies here, man? Because like that match specifically was a little bit weird where Scraps was going off, man. He looked like the guy, the X Factor for Paris, like we were talking about last week.
Most impactful.
And he was frying the most impactful player. It was awesome to see. So is that...
Will he do it again?
Is that a telltale sign? Paris won on Apocalypse and Paris has won now back-to-back Apocalypse maps. Like, is this a new go-to map for them? Are they going to be willing to rematch Seattle on it? Which is, Apocalypse is a map where Seattle's been pretty good. What are your thoughts on Paris? I
think
like to hear
Paris.
What you have to say.
I think Paris are stronger than Surge, is what I'll say. I think Paris will beat them 3-1 like they did this past weekend.
Man,
it's hard to do twice.
Oh man, it's hard to beat a team twice, especially in back-to-back weeks.
Does Scraps carry that though? Do you trust Scraps to be consistent?
What we continue to see is that Gunless and Octane are still really good at Call of Duty.
Yes.
That's not been lost.
No.
They are really good.
They're really good.
And that even when they're losing, it comes through.
Yeah.
And like that control on Garrison where Gunless was just absolutely
he dropped what?
Crying. It went 38 and 22.
30 and 22.
Actually, you know what? I will change my prediction to the Surge. I feel like the storyline is just so much better with that.
They're going for
it makes
storylines.
sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was going to pick the Surge to win in the rematch. I've been pegged as a Paris doubter.
You have been pegged.
I mean, you're definitely a
Sam!
Paris doubter. You
So
definitely
off-brand for you.
judge the Paris name, even when it's a whole new roster.
I'm sorry to cut that out. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, cut it out. Keep it in.
Stop.
How you doing over there, Rex? You doing
I'm
okay?
great. Let's just.
Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, anyway, so what were you saying?
I think Surge is going to win. I think Surge is going to get a 3-1 on Paris. Like you said, it's hard to beat a team twice. Surge will be coming off a win off the Ravens. Surge are going to be feeling themselves of like, and they look like they have improved. They just beat Optic. There's, morale is high now. I think they beat Paris 3-1.
I know. That's what's gonna be fun to see is what maps do they end up playing. I mean, do they rematch on a similar set that they had before? Do we see a change there? I don't know, and that's it's tough
Surge
to
are
say.
just proving something to themselves now because like they're probably not making it to champs, but now they can just prove that they can be a good team
Interesting.
without
So
any pretty much extra pressure.
I'm in the boat that I think Paris will still win 3-2. I think Paris's S&D looks
their
stronger.
S&D's been good. That's the thing.
Paris S&D has been strong.
On fire.
So I think 3-2 in that game 5 is going to be a pretty, pretty, what do you call that?
It's more about if you believe in the control.
Yes.
Because if they don't, this is going game 5 then,
Mhm.
and then Surge have to win an S&D.
Yes. Which versus Paris doesn't seem likely.
Right. So oh wow. Do you believe that Surge has bucked the trend, winning 2 controls in a row now, one of them against Paris? Do you think Paris rematches them on Garrison, or do you try to play checkmate against them? But they just won checkmate. I mean, they're gonna obviously Surge are vetoing raid. Duh.
Mhm.
So then which map does Paris play him on? I would imagine they try to rematch him on Garrison. But Gunless tore him a new one. So it's just like, I could see Seattle winning another control here. And that was why it comes down to me like, okay,
They can win both hard points and control.
could you win both hard points? And it's not like Surge have been awful in S&D. I mean, lately they haven't been great by any means. But on the year, they've been at least competent in S&D throughout the year.
They have.
And like we saw them beat Optic in a game or in a game 5. You know, that was an impressive S&D win.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm going to go Surge 3-1.
Nice. Samesies.
So I guess we're
Does not feel good though.
shoot.
Also because, it's not impossible that Surge lose in the first round. And now we have now we're rocking with Surge here playing Dallas. Oh my word.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's head up
Let's
to the winner's side.
No. Let's do the elimination and then we'll do winners.
Ooh, okay. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
Because that'll move us into like the next thing seamlessly.
Sounds good. I love it. Alrighty.
Subliners versus
Mutineers.
Mutineers. And I want to
Yeah.
talk about Subliners.
Alrighty, fire away, Rex.
This is the one where Subliners is not going to win. It's going to be a 3-1 Mutineers, and Mutineers are going to kind of, I think, stomp them.
Really?
Yep. Because of the new roster with the new addition of Decimate, New York is not going to be equipped
But
to
isn't it
take
more likely
down
that they
a
win
force
this
like
one
the Mutineers.
Then the last
That's
one?
what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they get it figured out.
Are you kidding me?
What do
I
you
think-
mean?
mean,
Although Florida's been a better team
Subliners.
than Rocker, if that's what
I
you
think
mean.
Subliners will beat Rocker first off. But I think Mutineers are a better team than Rocker right now.
Yeah, I mean, they are.
So when Subliners is relegated in our bracket to Mutineers is like this is where the train ends. Like Mutineers are going to stop it all.
This match will be played on Saturday, I think.
It's on Saturday.
Yeah, so that also gets interesting. I'm leaning for sure Florida. It's hard not to pick them. At the end of the day, I would feel pretty confident picking a 3-1 here.
Yeah.
It's just like Subliners are more likely to win this one, I think, than they were to win the first one, just because you have a little bit more time to to learn the roster, prepare for search and destroy.
I mean, sure. Like, I think you're putting a lot of weight into like their first game on land together with the random person way too heavily.
I mean, it'll be their first competitive time playing with Decimate. I mean, obviously they've scrimmed at least at this point quite a bit, but yeah, I think either way, we can all confirm we're picking Florida here.
Yeah,
3-1's probably fine. Sam, you go with 3-1.
I'm going 3-1.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, which game mode do you think Seattle that does Subliners have the best chance in? Search and destroy? Hardpoint?
You said subliners?
Probably hardpoint, right?
I say hardpoint.
Probably hardpoint.
But just like,
but they could sneak an
Asim's
S&D. Like
so
Decimate's an S&D guy.
That's what I'm saying. Decimate. It'll be interesting to see how Decimate. That's the most fun thing to me, is seeing the difference in search and destroy, because Asim's such the fast-paced entry first blood guy. When you pull him out of the equation, does it help Subliners play more collectively? Will they play it differently because they're a new team? They're just going to play for team pushes and try to play that out like that, or how do they play rogue like that? That'll be fun. I just don't trust it. So it's like, how do you pick it? I'm gonna pick 4-3-1. So, all right, sounds good. Let's move down to the Dallas Surge series. Anyone buying into this ultimate underdog right here?
I'm not totally buying into the Surge, but I think it's going to be a close series. So the narrative, Surge, they just beat Optic, morale super high. They're like, we're flying. We just want to get better. We got to prove that we can actually win stuff. So we go against the Ravens, 3-1 Ravens. We go against Paris, 3-1 Paris. We've gotten we're not the worst team in the league. That's like the rally cry. We get to the Empire and they are soaring with endorphins. And they're like, you know what, guys? Let's get a little crazy and let's beat Empire. So they get hyped out of their minds for this match.
They pop an Addy.
It gets to a game 5.
Jokes.
It gets to a game 5 S&D, and then Empire wins it narrowly, 6-4, and Surge lose the series 3-2.
I think this might be 3-0 Dallas Empire.
This could be a 3-0.
Yeah,
3-0.
I appreciate that story.
Have we picked the 3-0 yet?
No.
We haven't, have we? Oh, geez, we probably need to.
Yeah,
I'm down to pick a 3-0. Again, don't love it. Seattle's been competitive enough to win it, and Dallas hasn't been by no means impressive across any of the game modes specifically.
What if Illy just pops off on land? That'd be amazing.
Who?
Illy.
Illy? Oh, I'd love to see it.
Great.
Just seems a little unlikely.
Seems a little unlikely. Yes,
but yeah, that's the thing. Okay, I'm down to go Dallas like 3-0 or 3-1, but I'm a little bit torn on that map count. But I'm down for a 3-0. You good with that?
Yes.
All righty, let's do it. All right. Well, Rex, that sends us into our winner side of things here.
FaZe versus Rocker.
Let's go.
FaZe v Rocka, a rematch of our most recent, of the last match played in the CDL.
Yep. Is it going to be the same
Again,
result?
it was close though, but now even more is on the line. And that's usually a bad sign for the teams that FaZe is playing.
This is a 3-1.
3-0.
3-0?
I think 3-0
also.
Okay, let's do it.
Even though
FaZe is scary.
when it's FaZe doesn't apply to the rule when it's hard to beat a team twice. It gets easier for FaZe, actually.
I think so.
To beat them a second time.
They get more
it
from
feels like it.
Although,
they just get mad. They're like, they took a map?
Yeah.
And then they go and they come back. It's like, no, you're not getting a map.
It turns to just like demon mode.
Yeah, unless the only other time, that's the thing is if FaZe 3-0s you the first time, then maybe it's harder to beat you. Then it becomes harder. But they took a map off FaZe last time, which means they need to take this thing seriously. And this is to go to the winners finals. I can see this kind of happening like what happened again in Toronto in stage 2, where they 3-0'd Toronto, and then Toronto kind of went on that unbelievable run, and then voila, they end up losing to them because they underestimated them, obviously.
I mean, the beautiful thing about FaZe is that they hate losing maps.
Yeah, they get pissed.
Any map they lose, it's like, that should not have happened, which is like an amazing
killer
mindset
mentality
that they have because they are a number 1 team. Like they can have that mindset. It's like, whew, that's scary.
It is. It is.
Because they're you feel that they're just gunning for Rocker right now.
I know.
You took a map.
Bro, it just, in those times, even in that series where, I mean, FaZe was by no means playing that well, and Rocker were playing really, really well in that series. And it was coming down to the wire, all those maps. And it's just every time it got close, it's just FaZe made the clutch play. You're like, they need this 2-piece. Oh, there's a 2-piece. Oh, they need streaks. Oh, now suddenly a piece is on streaks.
I have out of this world experiences when I watch FaZe play. It's like there's something magic. Like it's just like
they are a hive mind.
Yeah,
like they're literally all one.
You
mind.
watch them play, and like you're just like they're sitting at corners, just like constantly like can't slide canceling into the corner, and then they go. It's like so incredibly fast. Yeah. Like it's out of this world.
Yeah, it really is. And I was just so
you just see it happening.
They lost that Garrison.
Yeah,
to Rocker. That's so scary. Like that's absolutely insane. But anyway. I'm down for FaZe 3-0. I think we could probably send them through to the winners finals there, which puts us on to the Ultra versus Optic match here. And I guess, what do you believe about this Optic Gaming roster?
I am not as confident in them as
you would have liked to be.
Ultras last, I get this right.
They 3-0'd NYSL.
16 games. Ultras lost 3 times, twice to FaZe and once to Mutineers.
Twice to FaZe and once to Mutineers.
In the last 16 games.
Yep. And the control streaks, they're 19-1 in their last, and they're 18-1 in their last 19. It's right around there somewhere. I'd have to confirm that in my notes here. But it is real scary. Toronto they are 5-0 during control. They're 18-1 in their last 19 controls, 20-5 since the start of stage 2 in control. Out freaking rageous. That is insane. Insane.
And then when you pair up against Optic, sometimes good, sometimes bad. I think
well, let's see how they do on LAN. I feel like this is a good matchup to talk about the LAN
for
conversation.
Sure. And if Optic wins this one, it gets spicy.
That would get weird.
And I know where you're going with that. I mean, Toronto's the Bell Fiber team. And if Optic beats them here on LAN, now that gets really juicy. And this is where Optic can prove that, LAN is the difference for us. And so this match is really, really juicy for Optic. At first, they have to beat Dallas, which is no given.
No.
And if they get to this point, Optic fans are going to be pumped, and that's where I think we could start seeing it get pretty interesting for sure.
I am not a believer, again, in this LAN, that's going to be a huge difference. So
yeah,
when I see this match, I see a 3-1 Ultra.
I'm saying 3-2 Ultra. Josh?
Yeah, I would lean 3-2. 3-2.
All right. Let's do it.
At the end of the day,
3-2.
This could be any of them. It could be a 3-0. It could be a 3-1. It could be a 3-2. There's a lot of variables here. I want to believe in this, in a little bit of the Optic side of things, just to keep it interesting. But at the same time, we've seen them play some really, really good COD at times. But then you hit the Seattle type series and it's just so mind blowing and defies all logic. And that's what Optic's really, really good at.
Well, we got an interesting one for the next series in the elimination.
For sure.
Optic versus the Mutineers.
Sends us down to the loser side of things. And that gives us the Optic v Mutineers series. Let's go over to the bracket real quick and show that out. Yeah, man. It gets really, really fun. So we've got Dallas and Rocker and Optic and Mutineers in the loser side right here. If you guys are looking at YouTube, we have a little bit new layout, by the way, if you guys can tell, for the YouTube stuff, which is fun and allows us to show the highlights in the bracket.
Heck
so
yeah.
It's pretty freaking sick.
Freaking cool.
But things obviously. Anyway,
man,
I don't know. I would lean Optic in this series.
That is the correct answer.
Oh, is it now?
Wow,
got him
Sam,
right.
You're diehard Optic. Why are you so diehard Optic?
I am not a diehard Optic. But this is for sure a match that Optic can win and should win. When you're looking at...
Man. I don't know. At the end of the day...
If I choose Optic to win, it's purely because of the LAN element.
Really?
Yeah. If I pick Optic to win, it's purely because of the LAN element.
I mean, again, it's been a minute. I mean, the last time Optic played Florida, they 3-0'd them in the Stage 3 Major. And they 3-0'd Dallas in the Stage 3 Major. Of course, that was pre-Vivid. I'm definitely torn.
I think Optic wins a Hardpoint, an S&D, and a Control. Maybe not
not in that order.
Not in that order, but
so 3-1?
Those threes, yeah.
I mean, Florida's such a streaky S&D team too, though. That's the thing. they've been decent lately, but when you watch them, there's just moments you're just like, yo, what are they doing? They do take risks, and I appreciate that about their S&D, and they've been pretty good lately. But like that Miami S&D was so bad against Dallas, and it's just so crazy after they 6-0'd Dallas in the Express, and they looked unbelievable in that 6-0. Again, the maps here are tough to say which maps they're going to end up playing. Last time they played, they played them on a Moscow Hardpoint, a Raid S&D, which went round 11, and the Checkmate Control. We could see
who are you
very
picking?
similar series. I would go Optic. I'd go Optic 3-2.
Sam?
I had 3-1 Optic.
All right. I'm okay with a 3-2 Optic. Part of me does believe the LAN element is going to play a factor.
Will you pick Optic like on your own? Are you picking Optic then? Or who are you taking? If in that matchup, who are you taking? I want to know.
I think in this matchup, I mean, I'm putting the LAN element heavily for Optic's favor here.
So
I'll go Optic 3-2. I'm okay with that. I like that.
Yeah, it's a tough series to predict, man. Again, first, there's just so many variables where we think we know what this is going to look like, but maybe players do start crumbling on LAN. This looks completely different.
It's possible, which would be kind of weird.
It's possible. Yeah, I agree. So that's the thing. At this point, like I said, I'm approaching this like it's going to be very similar in a lot of ways. So now we got the Rokkr v Dallas series up next. Again, we've seen some crazy matchups between these two teams over the course of the CDL, but we haven't seen them. We saw them play at the end of stage 3 in their groups. Empire won 3-1. Again, pre-Vivid. So we don't have a ton to base this off of, obviously, since besides Empire's performances here during the stage. I guess it kind of, where are you at with this Rokkr squad and where are you at the matchup?
Rokkr, another team I feel has some transformative power going into LAN, just because if they get here, they're playing against Empire, it's on LAN, they're all LAN guys, veterans. This is a point where they really can make a name, like stake something.
Yeah. Medium rare.
Yeah. I'm going to go... I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna go Dallas 3-2.
Yeah, man. Oh wow. This would give us a rematch of the Dallas Optic series again. Oh wow, that would get really juicy. I actually didn't even realize that. Man, part of me really wants to take the Rokkr. Based off what we saw in those final matches between, like the Rokkr, LA Thieves, I really, really liked what I saw there. Beating LA Thieves, looking really competitive against FaZe, beating the Surge, beating the Legion.
Especially if Priestahh is playing the same thing. That this is a scary team when Priestahh's on his.
I agree.
On the ball.
I agree. I would lean Rokkr 3-2 and clutching up in an S&D. I know Dallas has been good in game 5s. I wouldn't be opposed to a Rokkr 3-1 either, which again would be what we saw the last time they played. Obviously, a little bit, Dallas won in the major as well. But the last 2 matchups they've had have gone to a game 5, the stage 2 major. So 2 of the last 3 matchups they've had have gone game 5. I easily could see it. Empire put them away on Apocalypse last time. I'd imagine Rokkr would avoid Apocalypse this time around. Yeah, I'm going Rokkr 3-2. Sam?
I almost want to say 3-1 Rokkr.
Wow. Looks like we're going 3-2 Rokkr then.
1 second here, sorry. Oh.
Am I good?
Yep. We're going to edit this out right here.
Okay. Let's keep it moving.
Thank you. Yes. Sorry. Thank you.
Nice.
Okay.
Let's go, baby. See, now we got some highlights.
There we go.
So wait, can we start back where I'll just sit and say, yeah, I'll take a 3-2.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Can you click on the Streamlabs logo? On right monitor down. The little green one. Right there.
One?
No. No. Oh no.
Oh no.
Close that out.
One?
No. The left of the one you just clicked on. That right there, yeah. There you go. Nice. Okay. Alrighty.
Okay.
Oops. Alrighty. 3, 2, 1. Alrighty. I think I would probably take. I gotta go Dallas. I'm gonna go Rocker 3-2 in a little bit of the upset here. I just really like everything I saw from him in those last 2 series and the rise of Priesta. I think we even have some gameplay here. Oh, look at that. Oh baby. We got some gameplay here too.
Nice.
Of the last time they played. But I'm just really interested to see this team's play again. And like I said, Rocker were incredibly impressive across multiple game modes there in those 2 matchups.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it one step further. I think Rocker 3-1.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. I'm still not 100% on this Vivid with Empire team, personally, and I'm gonna assume Priesta carries on his performance from this past week. So with that in mind, I think Rocker 3-1.
I love it.
Perfect. Does that put us at Rocker?
I'm okay with doing Rocker 3-2.
3-2.
Okay. That's gonna get really interesting, Rex. So would you take Empire there?
I would still take Empire 3-2. Just because I think as Priest has found himself, yes, I think Vivid has also found a little bit of a stride now at the team.
Yeah.
The question always is Illy with
I think we're seeing 2 teams at their peak form.
To weigh towards Illy's going to be play more favorably on LAN.
Yeah, if this match happened, if this match happened like in this round, I would be really excited to watch this. With 2 teams who are both playing really good COD at this point too. So that gets fun, man. That does avoid the rematch of the Optic Dallas, which is a shame considering the hype would be so real. But that sends us on to an Optic v Rocker match here. And again, will we see a Moscow S&D? Can they line up in the corner again? That's going to be the real question. So this is where our brackets lined up right now. That is always going to be the question. So where you guys at with this one?
Gosh.
I'm going to go Optic 3. If Optic makes it this far, if Optic beat the Mutineers, I think Optic are beating Rocker. I'm going to go Optic 3-1 against the Rocker.
Man. Yeah, I think I lean that way too. The problem is the Optic's just big issue this year is sometimes they just had trouble putting teams away. Obviously, they did a good job of it during the major with Empire in Florida, and then they did a good job of it against like Paris. And even in the LA Thieves match, I think it was like a pretty nice like stamp on the end of that match to say like, yo, we want this, we're better, And you gotta be impressed with the way they've been playing. The hard points lately, obviously the Surge series was just so weird in that sense with losing the raid hard point off the rip. But like in the checkmate, I love the rotations from Optic in that second half, and the Moscow against Thieves was really impressive as well. We saw Dashy play incredible in that Garrison hardpoint off the rip as well. It definitely inspires confidence, and that's why I'm going to go Optic. Wow. I'm going to go Optic 3-2 in another insane series.
Why not? Oh, man, I think 3-1. I think Optic are going to smoke.
I just
believe in the Rocker. I believe in the Rocker.
You believe in them more than I do, that's for sure.
Yeah, I do. And I'm scared, but I do believe in the Rocker. And these matchups just line up in a pretty good way for the Rocker, where I think I can play that narrative a little bit better. Like, even though in the power rankings I had Dallas ahead of the Rocker, in a rematch in that losers bracket with the Rocker playing it out like this, I'm really warming up as the minutes pass to the Rocker and what this team could be.
Yeah, Sam,
you better make this pick quick, or I might pick the Rocker.
I think Optic win both hard points and one S&D. So Optic 3-1.
Ooh.
Well, would that even make sense?
3-2.
Wait, they win in the yeah. I was gonna say 3-2 make a little bit more sense there.
3-2.
Oh, 3-2.
Sorry, I was doing the math in my head. It wasn't coming out. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dang, man, that's gonna be.
3-2
Optic fans
then.
are hyped.
Yeah, they are.
They find themselves in the losers final already. This is nuts. And here we go, man. That puts us into the winners final to punch your ticket to the grand final.
Oh my word!
And you got FaZe v Toronto, man. And this is a best of 5 series right off the rip. We're in the winners finals. This is a story we've seen before.
How do you not choose FaZe, man?
Oh man,
it's so boring. But
I know it really is.
Is there any argument for Ultra here after losing?
I think
in the stage 3 major, FaZe beat them twice in 2 best of 5s. There's an argument for the Ultra for sure, but the last time they beat them was in the stage 2 major though. But it's going to be FaZe.
I think it's going to be a FaZe 3-1.
Yeah, man. Oh goodness. I'm leaning FaZe 3-1 as well. Sam?
FaZe are just too savage.
In my mind, you're almost crazy to not pick FaZe 3-1.
I mean, Ultra are on a 11 map win streak though.
I know.
Ultra have ran the table against some really solid teams in the CDL, man. They
lost to Mutineers.
Right? They lost to Mutineers, but then they 3-0'd the Empire. They 3-0'd the Ravens. They 3-0'd the Gorillas. Then they 3-0'd the Subliners. Obviously, the Subliners have some built-in excuses with Hydra being sick and ASIM still on, tough internet. But, to be fair, the Ultra are also in Toronto, so how much does that really matter?
FaZe
with
have
Bell
lost
Fiber, some great internet apparently.
Right. At the end of the day, I do lean FaZe, but I could see the argument for Toronto. But I think a 3-1 makes a lot of sense. To be fair, they did go game 5 in both of their matches in the major in stage 3. I think it's incredibly close. If it's a 3-1, it's still a very, very competitive series either way. I'm willing to go FaZe 3-1.
Yes.
Yeah, FaZe 3-1.
FaZe 3-1.
Yes.
All right, we're there. All righty. We have 2 matches left here. We got the losers final now. Toronto v Optic. Are we going to end up with another rematch here? It's so hard to predict Optic to beat Toronto.
But
this is a rematch.
Here's the thing, though. Some bugs scratching at me telling me to pick Optic for this.
Really?
But what evidence have we seen though for that?
I know.
Nothing. But this is just how Optic
buying into the hype.
They themselves live and die by the hype.
Oh,
so
man.
they make it this far. It's on land. Their whole MO is we're on land now. We're better than you. We're back.
Man,
That's
but Toronto,
their whole thing.
Again, this would be the highest pressured match of Toronto's career.
And Optic plays up to their competition.
Yeah, again, if you pick Optic here, I can't fault you for picking it, but at the same time, it's a complete narrative pick with the pressure on Toronto, the LAN effect, the clutch factor of Optic. Just from the evidence we've seen,
too much.
There's just no
too much
way. There's just no way.
Too much
I have
narrative.
to pick Toronto.
Yeah, this is gonna be a not boring. I guess not boring, but this is gonna play out very similarly to.
It went game 5 last time, round 11 in the major. It went the distance when they played last time in stage 3. It was about as fun of a series as a win. It went to a raid S&D round 11 right at the end. And obviously there was some insane rounds there in that series. So I'm totally fine with somebody picking Optic, but just the evidence of this stage with the loss to Seattle and, dropping maps to Legion and Thieves still, with Toronto not dropping maps to anybody after that little trip up against Florida. I have to take this. I have to take the Ultra. I'm taking him 3-1.
Choo choo. I'm hopping on the Optic train.
Oh, man.
I'm going to Optic 3-2.
Wow. Sam?
I'll say Ultra 3-2.
Okay, so that means we have to go Ultra 3-2 then.
But yeah.
Wait, okay. Yeah, I'm fine with an Ultra 3-2. That's what happened in their stage 3 major meetup as well. So I totally respect
like
that.
Optic might win.
So that puts us into a rematch of Ultra v Toronto. And oh man. So this is where we're at right now. If you can you scroll over there or not?
It's kind of hard to see.
It's a little bit tough. Yeah, our grand final here is FaZe v Toronto. In the grand finals.
You can do it at the very top right corner there.
Yeah. In the best of 9 series, again, are we going to buck the trend? Are we going to buck the trend of seeing the losing team coming out on top?
Hell no. I'm going to go with FaZe 5-2.
Wait, that would buck the trend. So hell yes.
Well, FaZe just beat them, so they beat them again.
No. But the that's what I'm saying. It bucks the trend of the losing team winning.
Oh yeah, that's not happening. All right, I guess. Yeah, not happening.
We are confusion.
The trend is being bucked, is what Rex is trying to say. Yeah, man. I could see a world where Ultra pull it off, but
FaZe ain't letting that happen.
It's so hard to pick against FaZe.
FaZe ain't letting that happen.
I bet it's gonna be closer.
I agree. I think 5-2 is a little bit crazy. I'm willing to go to the end, a 9 series bout.
That would be so much fun.
And on LAN would be holy.
Can we get a 5-4
crazy.
FaZe
In our first LAN of the CDL?
Man, that would actually be so sick.
I think the narrative's there though in a rematch, and we've seen them have some pretty epic series before. I'm okay with it, but you know, I mean, like we saw from the losers bracket, obviously with FaZe against the Subliners, it ended up being a 5-2 from the loser side of things. But oh man. The thing is, at the end of the day, we all thought that FaZe was a better team going into that, and it came down to round 11 on Express with the Subliners beating them in the Stage 3 major.
Yeah, but Subliners is a different breed.
I agree. At the end of the day, the team that I trust, that has the ice, that's done this before, all of these guys on the biggest stage on LAN, you have to trust FaZe. We haven't seen Toronto do it before, and it's hard for me to make that leap of faith with Toronto when you're playing against a team like FaZe who's just that freaking good.
Like FaZe are killers.
Right.
Like they might lose a regular season game and they are pissed. They hate losing a map. When they're at the majors, that like they are locked in. Like they're going to be playing Pete COD.
At the end of the day, in the Stage 2 when Toronto ended up winning, I mean, they went to they had an even map count after that tournament. It was 6-6 map count or whatever. So that's why I'm going to go FaZe. I'm willing to go 5-4 or 5-3 or 5-4, one of the two, for just the YOLOs of it.
I think 5-3 realistically, but I would love to see a 5-4.
Yeah, 5-3
probably makes the most sense.
Let's do 5-4.
Let's do 5-4.
Let's 5-4
do 5-4 for the narrative.
I mean, I probably would go 5-3, but I mean, that rounds out right there. So I guess we can look at our bracket real quick. Sammy, you want to send it through here? We have FaZe winning 5-4 v Toronto. Yes. We got Ultra v Optic. We've got Optic v Rocker. Scrolling up a little bit in the winners finals, obviously you got the Toronto Ultra, and then they rematched in the grand finals. So our top 6 here would have been FaZe, Ultra, or scroll to the left. FaZe, Ultra, and then Optic, Mutineers, and Dallas and Rocker would have been our top 6. Top 4 would have been Dallas and Rocker advancing there. So we'll see what happens, man. I like that a lot. I think those are basically the top 6 teams when you don't have an ASIM. We have an ASIM-less New York, which throws a big old wrench into these predictions, obviously. But man, it's going to be a wild one, boys. And obviously, we're kind of reaching our end of the podcast here. But any other final thoughts here on the tournament? Who's the MVP if FaZe wins? It's been a different player basically every single time. Last time it was Arctides.
Cellium.
It could very well be Cellium. I mean, he's been playing really, really well. I would have no problem with it.
Yeah, let's Cellium.
Okay, I'm down with the consensus Cellium. I'm down for that. And is there any specific player or team you're kind of keeping your eye on outside of the top 3 or 4 that you think if things fall in the right place for them, they could make this run? Is LA Thieves that team that could make the run? Because if they beat Florida, Could Florida be the
I
top
think
3
Florida
team?
would be that team that could dangerously win. Like,
I mean, what it would take is
Florida.
them. I mean, them beating LA Thieves isn't that crazy. Them
No.
beating Seattle or the Subliners is not that crazy without
No.
Asim.
Optic is going to be the
Optic's not
toughest.
that crazy.
But it's
Optic's
not that crazy to beat Optic at the end of the
Mhm.
day. Then
And
it's
then
not that crazy
Rocker-
to beat Rocker or Dallas.
No.
They've done it before. So then suddenly you're top 3.
Ultra. Yeah.
So that's not that crazy. At the same time, though, Dallas making a run's not that crazy either, man.
If Illy can be there and show up, yeah.
And
for
then
sure
they end up,
Dallas
and then
can
it would end
run.
up like, if you beat the Surge, not crazy. Can you beat the
Mhm.
Rocker? Not crazy. Then you have a rematch against Optic. Beating
You
them in a
could win.
rematch isn't that crazy
No.
either.
Yeah.
And then now suddenly you're sitting top 3 on LAN against the Ultra.
That would be interesting.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
But still, I would still probably take Ultra, obviously. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of scenarios where that could work out. That's a team to watch. LAG, though, I'm not convinced that they could make something crazy happen.
That would be something.
All it takes is a little bit of an upset against LA Thieves. Again, you don't know what LA Thieves team you're going to get. Then you head to play against the Mutineers, man. And,
You
anything
know,
can happen.
Gorillas got their own unique style that kind of works.
And they're
If
veterans.
one day it does work, I don't know if people know how to counter it.
They're veterans. They got that land experience. The
Mhm.
connection could have been a legit bigger problem than anyone thought originally.
It could be.
And then suddenly they're out here winning these gunfights that weren't going their way previously. I'm just saying the variables are there for
They're
something
there.
crazy to happen.
I would love to see LAG like just show
Could
up,
you
like, yeah,
imagine?
we're good. It's like, wow, internet really was that bad in California.
Yeah, then immediately they all buy an apartment in Dallas. They don't leave. I don't know. It's going to be fun, boys. So with that said, I think we can head into our intelligent or
Ooh.
irrelevant conversation. Let's check it out. Let's go.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
What was our question this week? It was basically which of these 4 teams would go the farthest in the tournament. So I'll be interested to see which one of them they end up choosing here.
Yeah, here we go. So options include Dallas, Florida, LA Thieves, or Rocker.
Okay,
Minnesota
so those
Rocker.
middling type of teams, the losers bracket type runs that could potentially happen here.
Yeah.
So who do they got?
I think Florida's the favorite here.
It's got to be Florida or Dallas.
Yeah, I would imagine it's Florida. I'd imagine it's Florida.
I'll vote for Minnesota.
I would imagine LA Thieves is probably the lowest.
Florida, 45%
Wow.
highest.
Good.
Second highest is LA Thieves, 21%.
Really?
And then
That's outrageous.
and then Minnesota.
no, people be low. Oh,
Dallas,
that makes sense.
14%.
It's Optic people.
People are way too down on Dallas.
What in the world? That's so crazy. People are doubting Dallas like that?
Dallas still gets
It's
wins.
not
They're
crazy
Still highly seeded for a reason.
Dallas could easily beat Optic. That's not crazy at all. I see that as like in odds, it's like a minus 150 max type bet, like on Optic. Like that's a close matchup.
Some comments include
Yes.
Oz Freak Show says Florida have proven that they can hang with the top guys if they play consistent COD. As an LAT fan, I hope they show something. Flash has talked big game about LAN versus online. They've talked the talk now, walk the walk.
Okay. Oh, I like the little call out there.
They
Things you love
do.
to see.
NR18 says, can a Rocker fan live in a world where we show
No.
consistency for once?
I mean, I think they have shown some consistency though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They've been consistently improving.
But yeah.
I don't know, man.
Interesting.
The Rocker are my team to watch here. Again, they're coming off of after they got 3-0 by Optic, they 3-1 the Legion, they 3-1 the Surge, they 3-2'd Thieves, and they played an incredibly competitive series against FaZe and took a map off of them.
Yeah.
3-1. You could steamroll that into here, winning that first match against New York, and you're probably gonna lose to FaZe in a rematch, but that'll send you down to losers bracket with a real chance to make a run. There is a world where Rocker can make a top 3 run here,
Yeah.
which would be insane.
that
that'd
would
be
be
wild.
insane.
Yeah. But it's hard to put your money on that. So it'll be fun to watch, man. I'm looking forward to it. What are you guys watching this week?
The LAN major, baby.
The Land. That's all it is. But Loki.
Loki.
Yo, Loki. Have you guys watched the first episode of Loki yet? Dude.
No.
Good.
Man, it was fun, man. If you guys haven't seen there's the Umbrella Academy is like very similar vibes to this Loki so far, or Loki's very similar to the Umbrella Academy. But I'm really liking the direction it's going. It's cool. I'm excited for it. Rex, what are you watching?
What am I watching? Same. I'm watching Big Mouth on Netflix still.
Okay, nice.
Watching
nice.
it actually for a second time. Finished up Rick and Morty. Anything else? We just watched a movie. But I can't remember. Edward Scissorhands. We actually watched Edward Scissorhands.
Great.
Oh, there you go.
A while ago.
Great movie.
Yeah,
Great
man.
movie.
Anything else you got going on, Sam?
I watched Ember's New Groove yesterday.
Oh, always a good,
with the
always a
kids.
hit.
Yeah.
Always a hit. Was
It
that
was
their
fun.
first time watching it?
It was.
Really? What'd they
Yeah.
think?
They were okay with it.
Not like hyped?
Nope.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's so sad because, that was like,
Maybe they're a little bit too young for like the jokes
I
to
think
hit.
so.
That's the shame. Also, exciting news for the podcast. We do have a producer in our
Wow.
midst who's been the one running the show behind the scenes. Unfortunately, you can't like hear him right now. We're not. I don't think we have it being recorded, but he is pulling the strings back there, giving us the gameplays. And for those shout out Amari, shout out Icy. It's your boy. All the names he's known by. He's pulling the strings for us, and hopefully we can have some some cool stuff down the line here as well with some of this stuff as well. So things we absolutely love to see. Amari says he's watching Overwatch this weekend, so I expect that $5.
We didn't even talk about Halo.
Well, yeah. So podcast is over.
Oh.
All right, guys. This has been the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports podcast. I
World
appreciate
Series of
you guys.
Warzone. I think it's gonna be
lot.
hype.
Yeah, the Warzone stuff's gonna be fun too. But yeah. Anyway, that's been the podcast. You guys can watch on YouTube. You can listen on Spotify. You can listen on Apple Podcasts. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We do appreciate it. Drop a comment down below with all your thoughts, and I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say about who's going to take it to the house this weekend and take home the championship. But I'll for sure be doing some watch parties. Hopefully, maybe you guys can join me at some point this weekend. It'll be a ton of fun. And Rex joins me once in a while. Sam, you know how it is, but. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you guys really did. But as always, I'm your voice of Elite. To my right is Bash_BO3 into a final strike per use is Rex Shady Nero right now.
Oh.
And guys, we will see you next time. We out.